lost my way, stumble around all day. I try to stand up straight, but then
Hi, and welcome to Talking with Giants. I'm your host, Scott Schilling. I want to welcome you to today's show. It's going to be another awesome show. I like to start all these presentations the exact same way with my pre-event prayer. So here goes. Lord, allow the words that we share here today to positively impact 100% of the lives of the audience in one way, shape, or form. Only you know who you sent here to hear this message. Allow us to do the best we can to deliver that message, be a vehicle, and of service to you. See, that's all we can ever control is a high intention and a low attachment. A high intention of imparting something good here today, and a low attachment as to what that might mean for you. Now, I'd suggest you get a pen and paper. There's going to be some great nuggets here today. Charles Horton is a business leader, entrepreneur, angel investor, transformational speaker, author, executive mentor, advisor, coach, and master firewalk instructor. By the age of 16, Charles had set his path on becoming financially independent. Unlike most 16 years old, he had a flair and ambition for business acumen to achieve this goal. His first venture was to spot a gap in the market, at a flea market no less. From there, Charles expanded to the check recovery and check guarantee business, launching Smart Check, which became the 8th largest check verification company in the country. Before he was 30, Charles had continued building his multi-million-dollar personal financial business. He has also started up, invested, and mentored a myriad of other companies. Charles lives by the philosophy that action delivers. He does not stand still, that's for sure. You'll see that as we go along. He is constantly taking steps to achieve goals through innovation with new ideas, new approaches, and transforming his companies while empowering his people. Charles has recently released his new book, Ignite the Secret, based on his life experiences, and he shares the secrets over the 19 lessons. Charles, welcome to Talking with Giants.
Thanks for having me on, Scott.
It's just been a joy getting to know you a little bit. Now, first of all, thank you for the book. It was a great read, a really wonderful read, a quick read, but very impactful. Now, I know you started with a less than ideal childhood. How have you used that to really gain your success today?
So, Scott, I did have an abusive childhood. My stepfather put my mom and myself in the hospital many times. And for me, it was about having to be out of the house. I didn't want to be home, and so I wanted independence. I started out doing mowing lawns. I had 150 people mowing lawns when I was 13 and 14 years old. Then I went on to start the check cashing business in the flea market, as we talked about. I was cashing. I'm a kid living in a trailer park. I have to have someone else drive me there. I have no money to myself, but I'm cashing $200,000 or so worth of checks a weekend at a flea market in Austin, Texas.
Pretty amazing. So the whole excuse of I don't have it, I can't get started, probably doesn't hold well with you.
That's a big part of what I teach. It doesn't matter what you have. You don't have to have money to be successful. You don't have to have the education. You don't have to have contacts. I didn't have any of that, and I've been able to build a successful numerous successful businesses in my lifetime.
That's wonderful. Firewalking, glass walking, arrow breaking are all great metaphors for life. You'll find out about that once you get the book. You need to get the book. How did they become part of your coaching and mentoring programs?
So I've been big into doing programs for my employees and my friends and my friends' companies' employees for a long time. And I started out by doing other activities such as the board break or doing high ropes and low ropes courses. And then I heard about firewalking and going to a Tony Robbins seminar. So I went to the Tony Robbins seminar with the intention of firewalking, and I had no conceptions about it, positively or negatively at the time, but when it came time to walking, I was scared to death and could not do it. I went back to that same seminar, somewhere between 6 and 8 times, I think it was, and I never was able to get across the coals. So I finally hired an instructor to come do it at my house. And Scott, when I got across those coals finally, and it was difficult that night, but when I finally got across those coals, it was like 5,000 pounds of weight fell off my shoulders, and that's what firewalking is a metaphor for me is we take the things in our life that are difficult, whether that be starting a job, asking for a raise, going after the date of our dreams. We make that such a big deal in our heads. We make it very fearful, but when we finally do it, it wasn't that big of a deal after all. There's really no benefit in being able to firewalk, but if you're really afraid of it and you do it and you conquer it, then anything else you do in life is just another firewalk, and you can go through it with ease.
So you got so enamored with it.
I did.
That you bought the company.
I bought the Firewalking Institute of Research and Education that taught Tony Robbins and T. Harv Eker and many others, and I've now trained about 1,000 instructors myself across the world, and that's really a big part of my life, is seeing all of these people that I've trained impacting lives all over the world.
Again, I say it's a great metaphor, and not done it myself, seen it done, and have not been at an event where I could do it. And I knew as soon as I said that to you, you'd say, "We'll do it at my house."
Come on out.
That's right, exactly. But I do see the metaphor, and as speakers and trainers, we tend to talk about fear, fantasized experience appearing real.
Yes.
And it certainly has to bust that for everybody who goes through that process.
If you build it up, there's a lot of things that we do, such as walking on broken glass, snapping an arrow with your throat. For different people, different things are that metaphor, that breaking point for them. Some people, just breaking a board is the biggest activity for them. So the intent is that something that we do at our seminars is going to be a breakthrough for the participants, and they can realize that they're the ones creating the obstacles to obtaining their dreams.
Yeah. Totally agree. So cool. When I was reading the book, I know the foundational thoughts in this book, the 19 lessons are, they're foundational. They truly
Yes.
are. I love what you said it and how you say it. The first being taking action.
Yes.
How does that play a role to start it all off?
So I'll give you an example. I got into my current business with a friend coming to me with the project. So he was studying it. He studied it and studied it and studied it. In the meantime, I went out and I opened a store. Then I opened 2 stores. Then I opened 5 stores, and he's still studying it. I get to 30 stores. He's still studying it. I get to 50 stores. It's probably too late in the market to get into it now. I think you need a balance. I've certainly done some things too rapidly and lost money on it, but you really need to take action. If you're going to do something, start now. Take a step forward into obtaining that life of your dreams, as you've done with this TV show.
Well, thank you. The only way you can get any feedback is to move.
Correct.
Right? I had a client one time, she said, "I'm stuck." I said, "Good, move." She said, "No, I'm stuck." I said, "Good, move."
Absolutely.
She goes, "You don't get it, I'm stuck." I said, "No, I get it, move."
Move, yeah.
I said, "Can you feel your right foot?" "Yeah, move it. You're no longer stuck."
Excellent advice.
It's the only thing that we can do, right? We can't get any feedback until we take an action.
Right.
As you and I were talking about this show, this is really ready, fire, aim.
Right.
We're refining after the fact.
We can think about a lot of things. Scott, I probably have 5 different business ideas a day that I want to go after, and I do have to refine down to a couple that I go after. But when I decide that that's an activity that I'm going to go after, I'm going to make constant movement in getting that goal.
Nice. Love that. Another thing that you mentioned in the book, and the book is a quick read, so you need to get the book. You can't be working for good of others and be depressed.
That's a tough one, and a lot of people suffer through depression. I know I go through my times of depression, but if you're focusing on other people's needs, you can't be depressed. If you're finding yourself depressed, go out to a homeless shelter and feed the homeless. Find somebody in need and help them. You're not going to be depressed after you see the results of your actions.
It is amazing that as we do for others, we tend to forget where we're at.
True.
And one of the things that I say or suggest in my trainings is anybody can be a mentor to anybody. A 7-year-old can mentor a 10-year-old.
Yes.
Because they have a piece of information, a sphere of influence. They have something that the 10-year-old doesn't have and
Yes.
needs. So that's why even coaches coming together, mentors coming together, that's why coaches have to have coaches, right?
Exactly. And in these days, for people our age, if we want to know anything about electronics, we better have an 18-year-old around to help us understand what these electronic gadgets do.
Isn't 18 management at that point? We really need like 15.
Pretty much with electronics, yeah. Look for your 13, your 15-year-old, and they're going to tell you how to operate the electronics.
Yeah, no, it's so amazingly true. One of the things that I say is some of us more mature, that's code word for old, some of us more mature folks have advantages, but we can also call upon those that are much younger.
Yes.
Because they have advantages.
When you're putting together a team, you need a lot of different viewpoints. You want people of all different ages and experiences and backgrounds that are able to input on your idea. Mastermind, as we were talking about before the show, you want a diverse mastermind to help you get where you want to go.
How do we, and I almost said, how do we help millennials like they need help? They're pretty self-sufficient and doing a lot of great things on their own. But how do we, as more mature folks, how do we relate to those millennials?
How do we relate to millennials? I think you just got to listen to what they're saying and what their needs are. I give a lot of advice to different age groups. I find that the younger people are wanting to start businesses at a young age now, and I think that's a really good thing, but you have to be realistic in your expectations too. It costs a lot of money to start a business, and so the way I started my businesses is I kept another source of income on the side before I went totally out and was on my own.
Well, that's one of the things in the book. Again, you talk about multiple streams of income.
Yes.
That you always want to have actually at least three streams of income in case
Correct.
one goes away.
I read recently that most millionaires have 7 streams of income. You want to have your passive company, or maybe not. I do because it fulfills my passions. And then you want to have multiple streams of other income coming. So I have my retirement accounts that are bringing in money. I have my stock market accounts that are bringing in money. And then I'm an angel investor. So I make angel investments in companies. And the key to making an angel investment is not to expect money out of it, but as you mature and you get more and more of these businesses going, then they're supplying money. One of the things I did as a kid is I had a vending route on the side, so that was another side of income. But if we're working for somebody, we can get laid off. If we have our own business, things can change, competitors can change, you don't change fast enough, and you're out of money. So it's really smart to have multiple streams of income.
At what point do you think, or at what age, did people start to finally figure out they needed multiple streams? Because it just seems like my age, and I'm a little older than you, it was 40, 40, 40. And that was it. You know, you go to work for 40 years, you work 40 hours a week to keep 40% of what you got, hopefully. And that was normal, right? Thank God I've broken out of that. But
out of my experience and my group of friends and people that I mentor, it's not an age group thing. It's probably more about 10% of people figure that out. 10% of people or less. Most people work paycheck to paycheck, and we need to get out of that mindset as quickly as we can.
How do you get them out of that mindset?
I think you need to start with you start with goals. So, for instance, I had a gentleman came to me when he was 18 years old. His mother had worked for me for years, and he wanted me to mentor him. So he came to work for me, and the first thing that I did is I started him out with a really small stock market account. So it was at the time it was called buyandhold.com. He got him a buyandhold.com, and we made it fun to invest. So we compared percentages. He didn't have near as much money, so I didn't want to compare dollars, but we compared percentages on how much our accounts grew, and we made it a game and a contest. So during that year between 18 and 19, while all of his friends are going out and partying and having a good time and spending money, he didn't drink. He didn't go out and party. He put every penny he could into an investment account and watched it grow. By the time he was 25, he had over $500,000 in his investment accounts. He has 2 apps that he's developed and is going as businesses. Smart, bright guy. It's about focus. You want to focus on saving and making saving fun. If you're rewarding yourself by going out and drinking and spending your entire paycheck on going out one night, that's not the right mindset. You want to reward yourself by saving money. Put that money into that investment account and reward yourself by having fun when you see yourself making good choices.
I know being on a catamaran in the British Virgin Islands is fun.
That is a lot of fun. But make sure you have the money to do that first.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. At one point, you suggest that people cultivate tension. As we talked earlier, I say create positive discontent. Be unabashedly appreciative of where you are, but never settle.
Right.
Just keep moving forward. So what does that cultivate tension mean for you?
My current business, I've been doing it for 18 years now. You get settled, you get used to whatever money you're making, you don't want to work as hard at it, so you have to bring people into your organization or onto your team that are going to question the current way of doing things. They're going to create discontent. They're going to say, why are we doing it this way? Why don't we go do this? So in my main company, we're coming out with a new product line right now that's really invigorated the entire team. We're excited, everybody's on board, and we're excited about this new product line. Or we could have just sat back and slowly let the company die if we didn't continue to innovate and continue to find out what the market wants.
Is innovation available in any business?
I think it is. You look at most of the retail chains, how long ago was it that we bought our office supplies from the little office supply store at the corner, and now none of those exist anymore. Now it was Office Max and Office Depot, and now most of us are probably buying most of our things online. So there's this constant evolution. What's next? Where are we going to be buying our things next?
Well, that's what we just saw. Macy's announce they're closing stores so they can go to their online presence.
Correct.
It's you gotta fish where the fish are.
You do.
It kind of makes some sense. You've got so many various statements throughout the books. I'm just going to throw them out to you and just love to hear your thoughts. The past does not equal your future.
It doesn't. It doesn't matter what you've done in life. If you grew up with really rich parents and a lot of money, or you grew up in an abusive home and had no money, it doesn't equate to your success. What you decide to do with your life is what matters. Nothing in your past matters. It doesn't matter if you've gone bankruptcy. We live in a great country for that. You can go out and you can start over. You can't change the past, so don't dwell on it. Learn from it, but don't dwell on your past. Focus on what you want in the future, and go after that.
I'd love to get your take on, it was actually one of my Facebook posts. I say everything works towards your good. In fact, a good book, actually. I kind of paraphrased a good book on that. But I say in every situation, ask 5 questions. What's my lesson? What's my gift? What did I do to create it? How can I modify it next time to make it better? How is this going to serve me the rest of my life?
Good 5 questions.
It turns everything from a incident into a potential learning situation. Is that something that makes sense?
I do talk regularly about the quality of the questions that you ask in your life. That's the same thing with the discontent. You got to continuously ask good questions in your business, good questions in your life, and it's the quality of questions that are going to lead to your the potential of your future.
I love that. You also suggest that we live intentionally.
Yes.
What's that mean?
So whatever you're doing in life, you do with intention. I believe strongly in working hard and playing hard. I'm big into developing my people. And by developing my people, that means I train them, and then I give them a stake so they have ownership in their business, and then I give them the direction, or the direction to do what they need to do, but then I give them the space to go out and do what they want to do. That allows me and them to work hard and play hard. I have a condo in Hawaii. That condo, we call it the company condo. My employees win trips to go, all expenses paid, but they can go anytime they want to go with the lodging paid for.
Very nice. You don't like to have fun, do you?
I love to have fun. I always say I'll never retire.
Yeah.
I've learned that. When I sold my first business, I had more than $10 million in the bank after taxes, and I planned on retiring. It's the most depressed I ever got in my life, and I learned out why. I learned why is because my passion was gone. My passion is developing people, seeing them hit and make their goals. Within my companies, that's allowing them to have ownerships, coaching and guiding them, and letting their dreams come true. Within the firewalking organization, that means having thousands of instructors that I've trained out there teaching the lessons that you can learn about about firewalking. It makes me so happy every single day that I get up and I get on Facebook and I see my instructors, one of my instructors somewhere in the world is out there positively changing lives and empowering people around the world.
I love that. I mean, that's what Talking with Giants is, my international portal of
Yes.
good. That's how we met.
And it's a
because
it's a great
you're good.
portal.
You're good, and we need to bring that good to the world.
Thank you.
I love this one as a Christian. This one always comes up for debate. Money does not, and I love the way you said this. I've never heard it like this before. Money does not make you evil. It gives you options.
Yes. I had a lady recently, very well networked lady. She had 40 networking groups going around in Dallas, and she came to me one day and said, Charles, I just can't see myself having money because I could not have a good relationship with God if I had money. And so I spent about an hour talking to her, and I talked about all the good things that she could do with money. What are the potential, I mean, how many people can you help? What diseases could you help cure? There are so many ways that money can make positive impacts in the world. You don't have to be greedy. You don't have to do any of that. I do believe in abundance. I believe in giving back, and I believe in living a decent life myself.
Wonderful. I think that's a great lesson for all of us. I think that the somehow along the way, and I don't know where that having money and having to be greedy got tied together, but that's not what it is. You can't do good works if you don't have the resources to do the good works.
Certainly not as good a work.
Or certainly not as good a work.
You certainly can do good things without money.
Oh,
but
yeah.
You can do better things if you have some resources behind you.
One of Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen gave me the money talk one day, and they said, you think it's about the money. It's not about the money. It's about the things that come with money.
Right.
Number one, people with money have influence. Number two, people who have money can do good work.
Yes.
And so I agree, you can do things without it, but it makes it a whole lot easier if you got it from that side. I love this one too. Businesses don't fail. People give up.
I started to do an acquisition when I was about 20, probably 5 years old. The executives from Southland had taken the check guarantee collection business and formed a separate company. It was a profitable company at the time, but when you go from middle management to suddenly you're an owner, what do you have to do? You have to raise your salaries. And they multiplied their salaries, say, by 10, and then their business was losing money because of their salaries. And they came to me and said, Charles, would you please take my company and just guarantee this debt that we personally guaranteed, and then you can have the business. They gave up. All they had to do was reduce their salaries by a little bit, and they would have been able to save their business. They could have raised their income as they grew the businesses. So that's a big training position of mine, is businesses don't fail, people give up. And one of my coworkers takes that to people. People don't fail, people give up. There's always a way out of a problem. Now, sometimes you're in a situation or a business that you need to just move on from, but if you want, you can always find a way to fix generally most anything.
I totally agree. Effective, easy, and enjoyable. Sounds like a great motto.
That's back to working hard and playing hard for me. It's empowering people to do what you want to do. I was in a Tony Robbins seminar one time, and he was saying, and Zig Ziglar had the same problem, is if you're forming a business all about one person, there's only so far that you can go. And Tony Robbins is a very successful speaker, and Zig Ziglar is a very successful speaker, but without them in the helm, their businesses will start to die. So I'm all about empowering a team. I hire people smarter than myself, and I delegate everything that's possible, and that makes everything effective, easy, and enjoyable.
That's nice. That's why you got a place in Hawaii.
Yes.
Exactly. How about listening to your inner voice, your subconscious?
So I had a problem one time with, I had Diamond Shamrock was my largest company at SmartCheck, and Diamond Shamrock decided to pull their account. I had 150 people, and I was going to lose 50 employees. I was probably going to lose the entire company because I didn't think I had I didn't have the money to get out of it. So what I did is I went to sleep that night, and I trust my subconscious, I trust God to give me that information, and that next morning I woke up, and I don't read legal contracts, but I woke up and I said, there is a clause in that contract that their checks are the collateral for what I owe them. So I owed them millions of dollars, and I was able to give them the checks that I wasn't able to collect back and not have to pay or bankrupt my company by millions of dollars.
So it's amazing how that inner voice gave you that answer.
It's powerful. Scott, we're down to about 2 minutes. I know. I do want to ask you, what did you think of the book? What were your big takeaways?
Oh, just wonderful takeaways. Again, a quick read. The one big takeaway, and I talked to you about it earlier, the Chinese bamboo tree. And I'm going to take that, again, metaphor. Well, it is a metaphor, and it's not really. Right. I mean, it's just factual. The fact that it takes to go from seed to growth 5 years, yeah, but then it can grow almost 100 feet in a matter of weeks.
Right.
Boom, it goes. And so it's sitting dormant that whole time. That's probably my biggest takeaway, was because talking with giants, as I shared with you, has been on my heart for years and years. Mm-hmm. And there have not been massive steps towards putting it into action, but there have consistently been steps and refinements and pieces of knowledge, mm-hmm, and meeting people.
Right. And then moving forward.
Keep moving forward, which is actually the 19th, right? Yep. Is keep moving, right? Is keep it going. And so that's what really helped me with the book, and I thanked you immediately. Mm-hmm. I sent you a text as soon as I finished it thanking you, because it's such a great reminder. Even if we know things, mm-hmm, we forget we know things, right, and it pops it back top of mind. And that's what becomes so valuable. That's why I wanted to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm humbled to be invited.
Oh, no, it's been wonderful. You know, here at Talking with Giants, we work diligently to bring you only the best of the best, because you deserve it, quite frankly. We all deserve it. We have the ability to lift each other up. But again, in the book, it'll say it's a choice. Our attitude is a choice. We can choose to do good works. We can choose to be happy. We can choose to lift people up, or we can choose something different. Well, here at Talking with Giants, we choose to bring on great guests like Charles, bring you great books like Ignite the Secret, and we want you to take advantage of it all. Until next time, God bless. Hi, Scott Schilling here. A number of years ago, I met Guinness Book of World Records holder, world's fastest reader, Howard Berg. His ability to manage knowledge impressed me. With the amount of information available today and the pace with which it's coming at us, having the ability to read and remember that information is more critical every day. Howard told me that using his techniques, I could double my reading speed in just a few short hours. Initially, I wasn't sure, but if in fact Howard was right, it'd be the best $100 in a couple hours I ever spent. Then Howard made an irresistible offer. Learn it first. Double your reading speed in just a few hours, or you owe me nothing. Now, how can you go wrong? The results have been amazing. I asked Howard if he would pass along that same opportunity to our TWG audience. Emphatically, Howard said yes. To learn more, simply go to twgspeedreading.com. Watch a short introductory video, sign up for the webinar that best fits your schedule, and double your reading speed in just a few hours, or you pay nothing. Now that's a deal worth looking into. twgspeedreading.com.